Hi Libra, Providence Tarot, you know what it is. I'm a double Libra. It's a little bit darker in the apartment, so I had to illuminate things behind me, and I brought my salt lamp here to kind of like give us something from up front. It's literally dusk, so yeah, it's dusk. It's like what? 7 o'clock at night. So you know it's gonna be, the sun's gonna be going down soon. I'm using the Druidcraft Tarot. Let's get into your first proof read for the month of September, Libra. How's the full moon treating you? It's September 2nd, so today is the last day of that full moon, you know, presence being in the sky. You'll still be feeling it after this though, I'm pretty sure, you know? And then the next full moon that we have will be on a very special day. Okay, so let me just go ahead and keep going. Yes. Oh, wow. Confidence is a big thing. And trusting your creativity, right? And your inspiration. That's huge. Right? Definitely self-confidence with the Star card. And then the High Priestess. So it's like, go ahead and go with that, like, eccentric side of you. Right? Okay, rebirth, I get it. Pluto, that's down there, but we'll get to that soon. I kind of jumped ahead. All right, so let's get to the center card here. All right, so the center card is the Five of Swords. This is Venus in Aquarius, and this is talking about a situation where the ego has gotten in the way, or this could be, you know, just differences, right? Venus being in Aquarius is her being how many houses away from Libra? It's Libra, Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius. So it's 5 houses away. So it's very interesting, Venus being in her 5th house, because she's trying to get someone or something, or you know, trying to relate to something that doesn't necessarily relate to them. And this could be something, this is like a very powerful energy, you know. Self-confidence also is another issue here. So I feel like, you know, someone could be making you feel like, or people could be making you think that you aren't who you are, or you might be thinking negative thoughts about yourself. You know, it's probably like kind of imposter syndrome, or it could be like not feeling attractive, you know, because it's a 5 and it's Venus, and the 5th house is Leo, the Hierophant is number 5, and that kind of thing, you know. So it almost feels like rejection, but rejection because it's like an idea of who I think you should be, or what I think you should know. Yeah, and the energy is, it's really a miss here, because someone is not seeing where they have the opportunity, right? Because it's a sword, the opportunity to relate, Venus, and the opportunity to actually see how attractive someone might be, you know, in their mind. You know, someone may not be seeing how smart you are. And that's a miss, you know? And it also is talking about conflict within that, right? So you guys could be experiencing some conflict within an institution. That could be work. It could be school. You might just be thinking that you don't measure up to something, or someone might be making you feel like you don't measure up, or that kind of way. You know, it's all an illusion, because these are your thoughts, right? And it's talking about misinformation. So whatever it is that someone is saying, or whatever it is that they're thinking, or, you know, someone's belief systems don't have to be true for you, right? That's what we're getting. Someone else's belief systems don't have to be true for you, and yours don't have to be true for them, really. It's all about perspective, and it's all about conditioning, right? With these 5s here and the 5 of Swords. So this is talking about how someone has been conditioned to think. So don't believe the hype, and don't believe what people who may not even know themselves who they are try to tell you who you are, right? And don't let anybody try to make you think that you are unattractive, or that you are incapable, right? You're an air sign, so you're pretty smart. The Tower here. Okay, yeah, so this definitely has to do with relationships, okay? And also, the Tower is a realization, a change of foundation, right? So the realization is just emphasizing the 5 of Swords here, right? The Tower is related to the Chariot, talking about moving forward with something. You know, the Tower does talk about endings. It talks about completion. It does talk about conflicts with an advantage. The advantage is that you can start over, or that you can kind of like, you know, seek this attention elsewhere. You know what I mean? You don't have to continue to try to relate to the same type of person, you know, or the same type of people. You do have the ability to meet new people, okay? Because sometimes people might have they may not honor or respect your ability to change, or your ability to kind of have a new way of thinking or expressing your knowledge. You know, maybe they're intimidated by your expression of your knowledge, or whatever it is that you might be saying or thinking. You know, it is very ego driven, this energy of the Five of Swords. Also, even like online too, like if you don't feel like online might be receiving you or seeing you as you are, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, don't put too much emphasis on that, on misinterpretations that other people might have about you, okay? The Tower, yeah, you know, it is what it is. That's something that's changing, or that's something that's waking you up. It's something that's giving you a new, I don't know, a new vehicle, right? Okay, another 7, more conflict with an advantage. So it's like conflict throughout. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to like make this reading like this, but we do have cards on the back that we're going to flip over. The 7 of Wands talks about standing your ground. You know, it's valor, right? It's justification of your own actions, yeah? So you can justify your actions because this is Mars and Leo, right? And here we go with the Tower, Mars, action, okay? Also purpose, resetting an intention, right? And I'm talking about having confidence too. So, you know what I mean? Just that. So let's go ahead and flip over the other card. The Rebirth card is here, which is the Judgment card, and that's Pluto, which is talking about getting through a situation that might have troubled you, that might have been traumatizing, or that you may have just kind of like been really hurt by. You know, Pluto is pain. It's also like death and rebirth. And this is kind of like just letting go of the things that you don't control, and also opening yourself up to something new, right? It's kind of like the only way that you're going to be able to achieve balance, or to kind of like equalize the situation, is to let go of what you don't control, right? And when you choose to do that, it actually puts you in a place of power and not weakness, right? You have to acknowledge what you don't control, okay? And this is freedom too, atonement, right? So it's kind of coming out on the other side of a situation feeling renewed, reborn, kind of even stripped, right? But that's great because you're not really holding on to that old energy or holding on to the weight, right? I'm getting like condensed. So maybe that's the thing. You just feel like renewed in some kind of way, right? Okay, another 2. So we're going from, so it's definitely relationships, right? Because we got a lot of 5s, a lot of 7s, and a lot of 2s. And this 2 of Wands is talking about asserting yourself, right? The 2 of Wands talks about, excuse me, the fear that you might have of taking a risk or putting yourself out there. Because look at this, Pluto, the Rebirth card, is putting yourself out there and with no apologies, right? And then the 2 of Wands is like, you know, what's special about you that makes you feel confident enough to put yourself out there and go after what it is that you want to go after and do what it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? And taking risks, right? And this is what? This is Mars in Aries, which is where Mars is right now. So it really is talking about trying to create a bridge between you know, your subconscious self and your conscious self, right? Internally and externally. Where do they meet? You know, it's almost kind of like as above, so below. And what you think about and what you're inspired by and what you want, you can make it happen. You know what I mean? And that's why the card of power here, rebirth, which is Pluto, the judgment card, is here. And then that just emphasizes the Two of Wands, which is also related to the High Priestess and rebirth, right? The judgment card. So it's talking about the power of potential, realizing your potential, using your creative gifts as a resource to do that, okay? Because these twos are related to, like I said, the High Priestess, but they're also related to the second house of Taurus, right? I feel like you're feeling re-emboldened, empowered now, because it's kind of like you walked away from something that didn't serve you, perhaps, or you just kind of like allowed yourself to to admit to yourself that something may have needed to change, or a way that you may have gotten used to doing things may have needed to change, or an old way of thinking, right? This is an old way of thinking. Okay, so maybe you're letting go of that. Let's see what's behind this Seven of Wands. Nine of Wands. Okay, so that's a progression, you know, so this is talking about taking that risk and going for it and fighting for yourself and being wounded, but making it through, right? Making it through. So some of you have been through a lot of turmoil in your relationships, a lot of challenges, adversity. You've had to stand up for yourself, right? And you had to prove and trust that, you know, you standing up for yourself was valid and warranted, right? Definitely. Because sometimes, you know, people aren't going to tell you what's best for you. You have to tell people, or you have to tell you what's best for you. You know, nobody's going to tell you what's best for you usually. And most of the time, they're, you know, they might be a little bit off because they're not you. Right? But yeah, let's flip over the Seven of Wands. It's saying that you're almost there. The Nine of Wands is like, you've come a long way, right? You've been through a lot, and you've learned a lot too. So now you're protecting yourself in some kind of way, because you're realizing how everything played into everything, right? Because this nine is related to the Hermit. It's also related to the Moon, which is talking about cycles and phases and growth, right? New foundations, new institutions, new fundamental, right? So you've learned a fundamental lesson that is going to carry you through this next chapter, right? These next, you know, few years, if you will. Nine of Wands, definitely talking about being a little like, whoa, standoffish, remembering past hurts and stuff like that. So once you remember these past hurts and things, Libra, it makes you reassert some part of yourself that is very interested in protecting your energy, your emotions, you know, and you're not going to let anybody get in your way here with this Nine of Wands. Don't get in my way, right? And the Two of Wands as well is saying that. And the Rebirth card is saying, yes, don't get in my way. Nobody's going to be in your way, right? Okay. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I would just say definitely take risks. Don't get too emotionally complacent. Express your creative potential, you know, and move forward with things that you haven't been able to move forward with, right? And also something that you may have anticipated, you might realize, yeah, sure, that is what's happening. But I can choose, right, to move on with this Two of Wands, right? Because we want to put something behind us with the Tower. We want to put a bad situation behind us for sure and free ourselves. And the Nine of Wands is saying, yeah, it is behind you. And now that it's behind you, moving forward, you're going to be a little reluctant to let people get close. And I feel like that's something that's happening too. Because you've come a long way and you've gotten very far. And you're looking back and seeing how, you know, you've grown and how wise you've become. So this being defensive is coming from a place of wisdom. Okay? So that's great. Thank you, Libra. Like, share, and subscribe. Comment on the video, share the video, follow me on Instagram, it's Providence Tarot there, and my personal account is NYC Kendrick. This reading.